Shalom everyone, I'm Rabbi Joanne Loiben at Temple Beth Sholom on Miami Beach, and I'm happy to share some words of Torah with you today. A few months ago, my friend called me to tell me that Amazon had left a mysterious package at his front door. We were talking about the possibilities of what to do, and then I remembered the situation with the ox in this week's Torah portion, Teitzei. Luckily, my friend was happy to go down the Rabbi rabbit hole with me to figure out what to do with this lost object, which was, by the way, a gaming chair, apparently a very special and comfortable chair for those who love computer and video games so much that they would love to be comfortable while playing. Parashat Teitzei states, if you see your fellow Israelites' ox or sheep gone astray, do not ignore it. You must take it back to your peer. If your fellow Israelite does not live near you, or you do not know who the owner is, you shall bring it home, and it shall remain with you until your peer claims it. Then you shall give it back. You shall do the same with that person's donkey. You shall do the same with that person's garment, and so too shall you do with anything that your fellow Israelite loses and you find. You must not remain indifferent. The Torah has pretty specific instructions about this, but there's an entire section of the Talmud as well that goes into much more detail. In this case, though, we decided to handle the situation according to Torah law. So the chair we called an ox. What do we do with this ox? Step 1, do not ignore it. My friend could have left it outside until someone eventually moved it. Or he could have moved it somewhere else himself, in front of somebody else's property or in front of somewhere else in the building. But the Torah says not to ignore it, so he didn't. Step 2, take it back to your peer. The problem was, my friend did not know who this was even supposed to go to. I suppose in Torah times in a village, one had a better chance of knowing whose ox it was, or at least they would know who to ask. In this case, even Amazon had no idea. So that leads us to step 3. If your fellow Israelite does not live near you, or you do not know who the owner is, you shall bring it home, and it shall remain with you until your peer claims it. Then you shall give it back. In this case, we did not know who owned the ox, so he was supposed to bring it home and take care of it until the owner returns it, or indefinitely. Well, my friend had no use for this ox. It was rather large, so he brought it instead to the temple, and it's an extremely comfortable chair, and one of our dear friends here at Temple is very much enjoying it as they spend long days in front of the computer screen. Everyone can rest assured that it's doing well, and if you know this owner, please come and claim it. Now that we have solved the situation with the chair or ox, it made me think about what the last part of the section commands. Do not be indifferent. As we are in the month of Elul and thinking about all the ways we may have missed the mark, all of the ways we may have sinned against God, ourselves, and our neighbors, it might be easier to think of the tangible ones, something someone actually did, like gossiping or cheating or anything of the sort. But it's harder to imagine all of the things that we didn't do. The times in our lives where we saw an ox and passed by it or pushed it away, those all count too. We are meant to be on the lookout for each other as we would hope others would do for us as well. This commandment to not be indifferent can be taken lots of different ways, but in this piece of Torah, it's clear. If we have the potential to help our friend, our neighbor, or the stranger, we need to make the effort. Perhaps call Amazon, try to get a hold of the very sad gamer who's missing their chair and would probably appreciate this effort more than we could know. In the season of thoughtfulness, let us not only consider the ways that we have acted, but also the ways where we have not acted when we could have. I hope we can all take that extra step and make a little extra effort to not remain indifferent. Let us make that an intention for the year ahead. Let us act when we see something, even if it doesn't directly affect us. If everyone acted in such a way, even sometimes, I just know it would make a difference. Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.